Howdy folks, AG Squared here to continue my Apple Intelligence video series by talking today about iOS 18.2 and specifically all of the AI capabilities that come with it. These include showing what and how to use the following features. First, Image Playground. Second, Genmoji. And third and lastly, Siri augmented with ChatGPT. I do a real-time demo of each of these features, so naturally this video will be a little long. If you are more interested in one of these features than the others, look below and click on the YouTube chapter to jump straight to that section that you're most interested in. All right, without further ado, let's get started here. To enable them, we open the settings and find this Open Image Playground option. When you click on this, you may see a Request Early Access message. Until December 2024, Apple has all of these features in beta mode and behind a waitlist. Now, the waitlist wasn't too bad for me. It only took a couple days once I clicked on that request to gain access feature. Once you get approved for access, you'll see the description of all that Image Playground can do just behind me. You can create a basic image using textual descriptions. You can create an avatar of a person, or you can even create an AI image using a combination of all these previous things, supplemented with an existing photo from your phone. The first thing we'll see is a prompt asking us to describe an image or add one from the suggestions from the list below. We're going to go through the suggestions later, so let's click on the bar below and start describing the image we want to generate. Now for me, what came to mind is a panda. I like pandas, sue me. So what we're going to describe here is a panda getting ready to start their weekend and Thanksgiving with its family. Now, when you submit this, you'll see the image got generated here in the center. We'll click on it, and as the Image Playground starts generating more images for using the text, you'll see more options available so you can continue swiping left or right on them. I think this one's cute, so I'm going to click on the elliptical button here and click Save Image. Now this image is saved in my library. Next, I'm going to try adding a different prompt, and that's going to be Donald Trump celebrating at the White House as he just recently became the president-elect. Now, as soon as I type that in, I do see this prompt, and at first it confused me. I was like, why is it asking me to describe and select a person? So I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm going to type in a different description just to get around this. This time around, I typed in something that wasn't a person, so I would avoid this prompt. So instead, I want to now generate a cat drinking a beer on a Friday night. And so I type that in, and I still see the same prompt telling me to choose a person. I'm still confused. So now I'm just going to battle through it. I'm going to click on the icon and then be asked to choose an appearance. I need to choose a skin tone color, and then I choose the type of theme of the person. Probably for legal reasons, Apple isn't allowed to actually show real looking people, so they have to use these type of avatars. And then once I finish, I see the person that was generated. It looks nothing like Donald Trump. Maybe it got the portrayal of his age right though. And then when I look back, check this out. At this point, I started realizing what was happening and why I kept on being asked to choose a person theme. And that's because as you're entering descriptions or really any interaction with Image Playground in an active session, it's all building up towards that image it's generating. So as you can see here, all four of the bubbles surrounding the center are contributing to that image. These are our individual descriptions we typed in earlier. The very first one I typed is in the bottom right. Then I typed in the Donald Trump one, which is on the bottom left. And then I had to choose an appearance, which is shown on the top right. From a user experience, I find this amazing and simple. I no longer need to come up with a single, potentially long description. Instead, I can now play in small bite chunks, which helps with creativity. Okay, let's click on the minus icon above the Donald Trump bubble to remove it. But you also have the ability to edit any of these descriptions by simply clicking on the bubble. Any change you do, adding a new bubble description, changing an existing one, or removing one, will result in a change to the generated AI image in the center. All right, let's also get rid of the panda description as well. So now all we have is the cat description and the appearance bubbles. And the generated images reflect that, as we can see. but I'm finding the appearance of the person quite off-putting. So I'll remove that and just have a cat. You can see a lot of the general results are effectively repeating themselves. But again, that's where adding more textual description or using the themes below can help. Each of the below options will alter the image and help kickstart your creativity. But I'm going to play with these a little bit later on, but you can see all of the possible selections to choose from, such as locations, scenarios, and themes to objects, and many more cool stuff. From this view, I do want to show the feature of uploading your own image to augment an active image playground session. Clicking on the plus sign at the bottom right will ask if you want the upload to be rendered as an animation or an illustration. This will depend if you want it to look more like in real life or if you want it to look like an animation. I'll choose this picture when I was in Germany overlooking a lake with boats. Playground generates these images keeping my cat, the beer, and now the scene that my image was portraying. Sweet! Sure, it doesn't look perfect, but trust me, it's still pretty neat when you're actually doing this in real time. I think. I'm going to go ahead and save that. And now I've had a total of 3 saved images in my playground that I can continue editing or export and share with my social circle. All right, let me show a new session where after I started getting some practice with Image Playground, I began getting more comfortable using the themes that I skipped over earlier. Okay, I'm gonna start by asking for a blue hawk. All right, there's my blue hawk. I now also want to add a new description called simply a trampoline. I want to see what happens here. Does Image Playground know that a trampoline typically means bouncing on it? It wasn't that intelligent, but it does look like it ended up generating images that did include a trampoline. Let's add a third thing. Let's add pancakes. I'm hungry at the moment and it's breakfast, so sue me. Okay, cool. We now see some pancakes in the images with the blue hawk, but I don't see the trampoline anymore on any of these. It looks like the AI has decided to ignore the trampoline altogether. Fine. Next up, let's type in another description with the text Mexico. So this is quite interesting. AI Playground says that it's unable to use that description. I don't know. Maybe I could have been more descriptive, or maybe it's not allowed to create depictions based on geolocation and cultural notions. But I'm going to go ahead and simply edit Mexico and replace that with the text ocean. Okay, so now we see an ocean, pancakes, the hawk, everything's there except a trampoline, whatever. That's okay. All right, let's make it interesting here. How about next we add as an additional bubble, a tiger. Super random, right? I mean, how is the AI going to behave in this case? And look at that. That first picture right there, it added a tiger on top of the pancakes. Super random, bizarre, but whatever. It's fun, again, I think. How interesting, but as you continue scrolling through the images that it continues generating, only that first one had the tiger depicted in them, which again highlights the interesting behavior of how these AI systems generate images. Okay, so now I want to show you how the suggestions theme section helps augment our creativity. I'll choose the royalty theme to start. Check out the difference now. Now I see the hawk with a crown and some kind of a necklace around it. Pretty cool. No pancakes this time though. Let's change this theme to now sunglasses, because for the themes we can only choose one. This looks pretty good. Next, let's try changing to the party theme. Okay, we've got some of those flags at the top, more pancakes this time around, and how about now we try the fireworks theme? Oh, this looks cool, right? It looks fun, but how and why will you use these features? I frankly don't know, but part of the fun in today's technology is discovering how we want to use it. All right, folks, let's transition away from Image Playground and into Genmojis. Using any application, you have access to the iOS emojis via the keyboard. But now, instead of just being able to search for an emoji like you used to in the past, you can now describe and generate an emoji. Let's check this out. I'll type in a description of a person holding scotch and cheering. Clicking on the Create a New Emoji button below will present us with the next step. Similar to Image Playground, we need to choose characteristics of the animation or the person, such as the gender and the skin tone and all of that goodness. Once all that's selected, clicking on Done will begin producing our AI art. And yeah, I mean, that's basically what I described. I'll click on that one. Because I'm using Facebook Messenger, this will get sent as a messenger sticker. And like with any other emojis, my AI generated ones are now visible to me via historical use in case I want to reuse it in the future. Let's do another Genmoji. Now let's try doing let's see, a cute animal waving hello while holding a cup of coffee because, well, I love coffee. But the results of this came out looking a little creepy. But again, it's because it's an emoji, right? It's not meant to be like an image similar to what we were doing in Image Playground. So here, I mean, it looks odd, but we do have a cute animal. And it is waving hello, and it is holding a cup of coffee. So I'm gonna go ahead and send this to someone. The last capability I wanna show is Siri augmented with ChatGPT. Now, before you're able to use that functionality, you do need to go to your settings view and scroll down to Apple Intelligence and Siri. Scrolling down, you'll see an option called ChatGPT. So as you can see from this description, if Siri doesn't know how to respond to something, it will fall back and then forward that to ChatGPT. But as I'll show shortly, its ability to support visual intelligence is one of my favorite features. You do have the option of using your own ChatGPT account if you have one, but that's not required. And thankfully, because I use Microsoft Copilot for just about everything, and it's been working for quite a bit now. It's not in beta or anything like that. But enough about that. Let's go ahead and click Next. For the terms of privacy, I won't focus on this for this video, but I would be doing an injustice if I didn't advocate for you to read through this. Gen AI as a whole has a data security and privacy challenge to overcome, and it's important to know how your data is being used. Okay, let's proceed. You'll see at the bottom an option to use your own ChatGPT account. Since I don't have one, I'll just choose to enable as is. And you'll also be shown the option to download the ChatGPT app, and I'll go ahead and do that since it's so easy to do from here. But thinking back, I don't actually think this is required. So if you don't want to download the ChatGPT app, don't worry, you're not going to need to do it. This is good to go now, so we're going to exit this view and start playing with it, folks. The first thing I want to do is ask Siri a question that it couldn't answer in the past, and that is to have it tell me something that is inspirational. And let's see what happens. Okay, we now see Siri asking us if we are okay to use ChatGPT. So that's good. It's putting you in control to decide yes or no. Of course, I'm going to be saying yes right now. And now it's working with ChatGPT behind the scenes seamlessly to produce an inspirational quote. This one is from Franklin D. Roosevelt, good old FDR, and basically saying, don't doubt yourself, otherwise you'll limit your potential. Awesome, I now feel hella inspired and motivated. Next, I'm going to test it to see if it actually has integration with the rest of my software applications on my phone. As I was typing, I did notice that Siri now generates cool options to select from. But what I care to know about is how my day is going to look like. Something that I can easily do with Microsoft Copilot. I submit that and we see it's working with ChatGPT, and unfortunately it's not going to know about my calendar. When I ask that to Microsoft Copilot, it knows my entire calendar, my entire emails, effectively my entire secure Microsoft ecosystem. So a little bit of a bummer here, and I'm sure Apple will figure it out, but to Apple's defense, if I was probably more embedded into the Apple ecosystem using Apple Calendar, Apple Mail, I am more confident that it would be able to embed some of this intelligence into it. Okay, let me show you this next capability, which also exists in the Edge browser already, but it's very cool to see it be part of iPhone's Apple Intelligence such that it can be used irregardless of the browser of your preference. I opened this web page, and as you can see, the headline, Austin's rental market collapsing. A bit doom and gloom for my taste, but I want to go ahead and get a quick summary of this regardless. So I'm going to ask Siri, what does this site's content say? I effectively just want a summary. And now this is important, folks. When you interact with Siri and you have something being shown on the screen, like a website or an image, you'll be asked, do you want to send this content to ChatGPT? And you'll be given the option to select what you want to send. It could be the screenshot as it is now, or it could be the entire document. And the latter is what we want in this case. Again, careful what you send here. Do not send anything that may contain personal information that you don't want others to have. Selecting this option, you can now see it's going to send a whopping 6.61 megabytes. I don't know how it's calculating that because the website is not that much, but assuming that it's accurate, you may want to consider doing this only on Wi-Fi unless you have an unlimited plan. I'm going to go ahead and click send on this here. And let's take a look at what happens. It's working with ChatGPT, it's parsing through all of the actual text, and it's going to produce a summary for me, I hope. This is awesome, folks. And again, depending on what you're reading, this could be very, very useful to get a quick read on what the article is providing. Okay, let's move on next to the other example of this, which is uploading an image. Using Chrome on my phone, I'm just going to look up a random image. Here it is, it's an image of the Grand Canyon, and it also has a textual description of it. Now, same thing, we'll ask Siri, what is this image of? When asked what to send to ChatGPT, this time around, I'll keep the selection as screenshot this time. And it does a really good job at this. It described what the image was showing, which is a group of people. And just by saying there's a group of people, that tells me that ChatGPT didn't just read the textual description. It definitely processed the picture. It also describes a group of people overlooking at the Grand Canyon and provides a descriptive information about the Grand Canyon itself. I think this is awesome. And I think this will open up so much potential for people to figure out how they want to use it for their enjoyment, education, or productivity. So that's a wrap for today, folks. I'm just scratching the surface here, and there's so much more that I can play with this. If you don't have access to these capabilities and features on your phone just yet, but you're curious about doing something with it, drop me a message in the comments below, and I'll create a short video with your questions answered. Don't forget to also subscribe so you don't miss out on the answer to your question. Do let me know whether you want me to use Image Playground, Genmoji, or Siri plus ChatGPT. And if you are interested in more content around technology topics, check out my channel's playlist on this topic. And as always, folks, thank you so much for watching. Until next time.